Mark, back-to-back nights where the assists are just flowing and ball seems to be zipping around. What'd you notice tonight as kind of a nice continued step forward off of last night?
Yeah, I thought we played with great rhythm in all parts of the game, transition, in the half court, really shared the ball, kept the ball ahead of them. And I just thought our focus to do that and just our energy on the other end. This is our third in 4 nights in 3 different cities, so I never take that for granted either. Just physically and mentally, the guys' ability to bring that level of juice and that focus for close to 48 minutes was impressive.
And Shai's got 4 blocks tonight. He had to play near your bench where he just forces a Laravia turnover just with his pressure. Again, in the third game in 4 nights, the energy that you saw from him specifically.
All of them. I thought defensively they're a tough cover. They have a way of playing that has really been hard for the league to catch up to. And I thought tonight, we just did it with great individual will on the ball. And great activity, and there's really no shortcutting it. I mean, you just have to relentlessly be able to play their drives, their shots, and they put a lot of pressure on you over the course of 48 minutes, and our players rose to that tonight with great, focus and energy, like I said, Shai, and all the way down.
Mark, that play at the end of the third quarter where Shai has the finger roll, he crosses half court with 3 seconds left, like in a jog. Did you have any sort of reaction to that player? What were your thoughts just seeing that unfold?
It was a great play. He's in those clock situations a lot, and it takes time to learn that. There's been a lot of times where he'll throw the ball to somebody and they don't get the 3 out. We make the 3, but the 3 goes after the buzzer because he delivers it late. He mismanages the clock in that direction. So it's obviously a ridiculous play, but I also think his ability to time that is a subtle growth point. He's been in a lot of those situations and he's kind of learning. He's got an internal clock in those situations and he's getting better and better at it.
Yeah, I guess what have you, with such a healthy sample now of games without Chet, what have you made of the way he sort of led this team? I mean, you guys are 18-3 without Chet. The way he's led this team even without such a big piece.
Chet's a big part of what we are and what we're doing, and we can't wait to have him back, obviously. It's not one person. It's the collective. The guys are doing a great job. We did a great job while Hart was out, while Chet was in. We did a great job while they were both out. The team's just risen to the challenges and done it collectively. Shai obviously has been great. He's a great player. He's a great leader, but I would be remiss not to mention the fact that everybody's doing it. Everybody's done a great job of being ready and contributing. You don't have that kind of string of games without that.
You played A.J. Mitchell really from the start, but it looked like his comfort level, like that second quarter, hit a couple threes, got a loose ball that led to a bucket, took a charge on the inbounds. Looked like he's just getting even more comfortable as the season goes on.
Yeah, he's gaining confidence. He's a great developmental track, because he came in with a baseline of competitiveness and team orientation, and that allows you to kind of get him on the track early. And now he's kind of, the game's slowing down for him. He's played different opponents. He's been in different situations. He's now enduring a condensed schedule, a lot of road games. He's not used to this from college. And I thought he was really valuable. And they're a very schemy defense. They're not just throwing their base every night. They're trying to deny the ball to Shai. They're cross-matching at times. And when they're playing Shai and Dub like that, they're pressuring like that, having another guy that can handle the ball, initiate offense, create, is important. And he's primed himself up to this point to be able to do that very well. And he had another really good night tonight.
Following up on AJ, going back to training camp, you were really high on him and were really complimentary of him. Is there anything that really stood out to you going back to pre-draft, draft workouts, or just early in training camp that you saw in him that really stood out?
Well, Sam loved him from the jump. I can remember him, all the way back into last season. He was on the road watching him, and I remember him telling me about him before I ever laid eyes on him. And then we went through the process with him just like we do with everybody. We have extensive draft process, and we do it with a lot of guys, so we got to know him just like everybody else. But he came in the right way. He approached Summer League impressively. He's been ridiculously professional. He's attacked the program. He's done everything from a baseline standpoint that makes it easy to bet on him. And then he kind of kept clearing the hurdles as we built things up in September and in training camp and preseason and now into the season. So he's done a great job, but he's also, 30 games into his career. He's going to have a regression at some point. It's not going to be just this rocket ship, but he's done a great job so far.
You sort of touched on it, but his confidence and just comfortability playing in more and more games, where have you seen the most growth from? I know it's been a small sample size, like you said.
I think the game's just slowing down for him. I mean, the NBA is very patterned and repetitive, and, the downside of that is when you're young, everything seems fast and new, but as you gain experience, the game slows down to the point where now, you look at like a veteran guard that's seen all the coverages and seen all the pictures, and they can then manipulate the game. They've caught up to the pitching, and he's early in that process, but he's got the capacity to be able to do that at some point.
How have you seen JDub take steps as a playmaker and a facilitator?
He's made kind of consistent steps since he was a rookie. The thing I would point out with him right now that is very impressive to me is he's established himself as a great player, a highly impactful player, contributing to a successful team to this point last year and this year and even the year before. And he's got the humility, the confidence, and the drive to continue to focus on improving, because he's only in his third year. He's not like this finished product. And I think sometimes what happens is when you have early success, you kind of lock into that and you become reliant on that and you stop focusing on improvement. And right now he's like driving the ball harder than he's driven it all season, and he's not meeting it with great success. He had a play tonight where he might have gotten fouled, might not. It was kind of an ugly play. It doesn't feel good when it happens, but he's kind of thrusting himself into that situation despite the fact that it's not working and despite the fact that other things are. And I just have I have great admiration for his willingness to do that. It shows that he wants to be really good and that he also can see the big picture. And so I know that wasn't exactly your question, but that's the thing to me that's really standing out about him right now.
How have you specifically kind of seen AJ take some pressure off of Shai in their minutes together?
And Dub, and Chet when he was available, and Isaiah Hartenstein. He's just another guy that is kind of a steady hand on the wheel. When he's got the ball in his hands, he makes very sound plays. He can score. He can shoot. He can play in the mid-range. He can get to the rim, and then he makes the right reads. And so he can play on the ball. He can play off the ball. He's pretty dynamic there. And then, I understand he had, however many points he had tonight, but he defends in a way that you can play him. He could take real matchups. He did a really good job I was very impressed with him last night. He was bouncing around from Brandon Miller to Curry. These are different covers for him. He's never seen these players, and he just goes in there. He's always competing, and he's pretty good fundamentally and physically. And so he does it on both ends. Even though the offense tonight obviously was loud for him.
Anybody else? We'll go Joel with the last question.
Hardenstein took a couple threes today.
Yep.
I think obviously teams are catching up to his playmaking. They're becoming more fearful of it. I guess just what have the conversations been like in terms of the counters for that and just encouraging him to maybe shoot more of those?
Yeah, that's not new. From the jump, I've been behind him letting those rip. When he shoots them in practice, he puts a good stroke on it, and he's a skilled player, and we want him to be confident. He's a good player, so we want him to be confident as a passer. We want him to be confident to step into those shots. He's another one, to the point with Dub. He's not a finished product. He's a good player. He's a really impactful player, but he's not a finished product. He's a lot of things he can get better at. And so we're not looking at him as this guy that we've acquired to go do his thing. We've looked at him as a guy we've acquired to work with and to work through new experiences with, and hopefully to gain marginal improvement for a guy that's already, clearly a very good player.
Just what are those things you think he can work on?
Some of the stuff inside of our system, in terms of his spacing, after rolls, the pick and roll game with the different guards. These guys stylistically are different than the guys he's played with before, specifically how they get played. Tonight was a great example. The way Memphis played those guys is different from, I think, what he's seen a ton. Defensively, again, inside of our system, not just doing like one coverage and one thing, but the ability to do different things. And so, we're working with him through that. But it's less about the specifics. It's more about the mindset. We don't see him as, a finished product. We see him as somebody that's got some runway. We see all our players like that.
Jalen, you guys had 35 assists tonight, and you had 8 of them. 7 different guys in double figures. What did you feel out there on the floor in terms of the way the ball was moving and you guys were creating things for each other?
Played unselfish, and that's kind of how we want to play. Yeah, I thought we did that the whole game, which is impressive because even when you're up, it's like usually times where like a lot of teams kind of just try and go and get theirs, and I thought we did a good job kind of getting everybody involved, and that's when we play our best.
Shai, you had a number of defensive sequences, just like everybody on the team. But after you force LaRavia into the turnover on the sideline and then the block when you blow up the 2-on-1, I noticed you looking over to the bench to your guys. How much are you feeding off of your teammates in those moments when you come up with big defensive plays?
Yeah, those guys are really into the game, bring a lot of energy, and it kind of keeps me going. A lot of times, like, you're tired out there, and the energy from your teammates, energy from the crowd, energy in general helps you like almost forget about the fatigue and play through it. And that's what I use it as. They do a really good job of that, supporting us out there. Even though I think it was like Dylan and Jay Will, and they didn't play much tonight, but great teammates, and I use them for sure.
Shai, that third quarter buzzer beater, when you get the ball, there's 8 seconds left. When you walk across half court, there's 3 seconds left, and you still somehow find a way to score. Just walking through that play and kind of what was going through your head.
Yeah, I wanted to shoot a 3. That's really why I slowed down. And then I just saw that, like, I think it was Kennard. His like feet were above the line, so I could drive him. And then 3 seconds is a lot of time. Like it seems like it's short, but it's a lot of time to get somewhere. And I knew that with that amount of time, I could get to the rim if I wanted to. And lane opened up, I'm trying to make a play. The rest is history.
And Dub, obviously Shai had MVP buzz last year, but it feels somewhat different this time around. Like, it feels early, often, like the foundation for his MVP case is really there. I guess if you had to make a pitch for those who are not in on his case, like what would be a pitch?
Watch the games. It's pretty obvious. I don't know how he didn't get it last year, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm there every day. I see it every day. I'm in the game. Just watch the games, man. Trust your eyes.
Thanks, Dub.
How many you have tonight? How many you have tonight?
Watch the game. Watch the game.
Watch the shit. Like, I don't know. It's a bad man.
Shai, you've gotten to play off AJ some, recently. What does he do for your game, playing off of him?
AJ does a lot for our team. I'm gonna start with my team and I'll get to myself after. But for the team, he like pushes the pace. He plays so hard on both ends of the floor that he raises the level of our intensity. And then he's such a good decision maker, like on the ball, in closeouts. Like, he makes reads every possession, and like he's almost like me and Dub joke, like, we can tell by the way he played that he went to college for 4 years. Like, he makes every read, he plays basketball the right way, he plays hard, he does all the little things, and he helps us win. And obviously his, I guess, situation coming to the season, you might have not expected this. I certainly didn't. But after being with them for the first couple weeks of training camp and preseason, you could see you can see where he's going with it and why he's doing what he's doing. And it's earned speaks to his character, his hard work. He's a hooper. He plays hard, and he trusts his work, and good things happen because of it. And then for myself, he makes the game easy. He takes the pressure off. If someone's pressuring me coming up the court, obviously a great handler. He also sees the game at a very high level, so I can cut back door, I can save my energy and get freed up off the ball, and he'll find me. He's special, regardless of his situation and the lack of hype around him, around his name. He affects winning basketball at a very high level, and that's hard to come by, especially for a rookie. So, hats off to AJ. He's been great so far, and I know he'll continue it.
Was there a specific moment for either of you in training camp or preseason where it did flip for you and kind of expected this?
I don't remember the exact day, but there was a practice where we were playing, and he made 6 or 7 plays in a row, and one was a layup off a pick and roll. The other one was an assist to the corner off the pick and roll. The other one was a low man play, and then the next one was a 3-ball, and it was all in a row. And he just you could tell he was taught how to play, and he just plays off his feel, and he makes the right decision most of the time because of that. And when you can feel the game, you can play anywhere, no matter what game you're thrown into. In Germany, in Italy, in the NBA, in Canada, it doesn't matter. When you can feel the game, you can play, and that's what we're seeing with AJ.
It's an MVP answer.
Yeah, I almost cried talking about AJ.
Shout out AJ, man.
Is that it?
Hello.
Joe got one. My dog Joe.
Obviously, Hartenstein took 2 threes today.
Yeah.
That's maybe a product of Memphis specifically, but also just the way teams are starting to play him. Mark was just in here saying that the team wants to give him confidence as a shooter, and then his shot looks good in practice. Just what have you guys seen from his jump shot, and I guess have you guys maybe tried to get him involved as a shooter behind closed doors?
Yeah, really good basketball player to start with that. So he's going to make the right decisions 99.9% of the times. And because of that, we want to give him freedom to do and make the right play. A lot of times, like you said, the defense is going to gap off of him. Jaren Jackson wasn't really guarding him tonight from the three-point line. And we want all 5 guys out there to be a weapon, and there's only one way you get there, and that's being willing to shoot and willing to take open shots. And that's all that really is. If he's willing to take that, we believe he can make it. Now they're going to guard him tighter, more space behind it. He can backdoor cut. Now he can get back to what he really wants to do. So it's just going to make him a better player, us a better team, and that's what the goal is.
I know you guys found out pretty late yesterday that LaMelo and Brandon Miller weren't going to play. Obviously, no John Morant tonight. You've had a decent amount of games now where teams are missing the head of the snake or whatever. I know you guys can't control that, but maybe how frustrating is that, and how difficult then does it become to kind of understand what you really have?
Yeah, it's neither frustrating or difficult. It's just something to adjust to. You're in this league to play the best players in the world. You want to play them. You get up to play them. It's fun to play them. It's fun to compete. It's fun to see, how good you really are. And you do that by going against the best. Now, like you said, we can't control that. But obviously, it happens, and all we can do is put our best foot forward, and that's what we try to do. And regardless whether those guys play or not, whoever it is, that's all we can really do at the end of the day. So nothing really changes for us. Now, if you ask me which one I prefer, obviously it's to play teams fully healthy at their full strength so we can see where we are. But like you said, it's something we can't control, and all we can do is try to win a basketball game.
Yoko has one last question.
Did you know that there was the shortest NBA player today?
Yes, I could tell.
Nice,
Really good player, though.
What do you think of him? He's a Japanese player.
Yeah, really good basketball player. You can see he had 10 points in 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's nice.
And 3 assists. Very skilled, knows how to play basketball. And it's cool to see that despite the size that he can play out there. And it goes back to what I said. If you have feel, you can play no matter what.